Who do you think won the price battle here?
Xbox.
Why?
The subscription thing is just insane. And like the with disk drive price is the same as the Series X. So like, okay, PS5 without the disk drive, you get the full fat except the disk drive for $399, which is pretty fantastic.
$100 cheaper than either flagship console.
Yes,
I strongly disagree.
You think PS5 wins?
I think PS5 won. I think the all-digital PS5... So here's the thing. Because remember, it's not like Sony doesn't have a game subscription service too. Microsoft's pricing, outstanding. But they don't have exclusive games, even temporarily exclusive. They don't have exclusive games that would entice me to go buy it.
You just said the price war. You
I
didn't say
did.
the war.
Well, you're the one who brought up the subscriptions. I didn't bring up the subscriptions. From a hardware standpoint, I think it is indisputable that Sony... What? You're making that face. I don't like that face. That's a rude face, and I won't see it. I won't have it. I won't have it. I won't have it. I'm getting rid of you. I'm getting rid of you. Hold on. Where's your... No, you're gone. You're done. You're out.
You get one of the consoles.
No, you're done.
Your subscription.
No, you keep pushing. You keep pushing. I'm gonna mute you too. Who's got the OBS now? All right, you're back. You're back. You're back.
PlayStation's live subscription. What is that?
Okay. Hold on a second. I'm trying to remember. Okay.
Like
Fine.
if you want to play an online game, you have to have what's it called on PlayStation?
Yeah, so PlayStation Plus collection was announced. So PS5 owners with PS5 Plus will be able to download and play a curated library of PS4 games that defined the generation, like Batman Arkham Knight, Bloodborne, Fallout 4, God of War, Monster Hunter World, Persona 5, and many more. So they've got great content out of the gate, whereas Microsoft, as you pointed out, is essentially giving away a free console with your subscription to the maybe a slightly more mediocre content. But where I think Sony got it right is actually very closely in line with what I said was so great about Apple's approach with the new iPad Air. What you're getting with the PlayStation 5 digital edition, so the one that does not have the disc drive, is for $400, for less than the price of a Series X or a full-fat PS5. You are getting next-generation performance. In terms of the actual performance bang for the buck, if we're to take Microsoft's word for the teraflops of the Series S versus the Series X, you are getting the best bang for the buck out of the next-generation consoles, bar none, making it the most future-proof purchase out of the lot of them. That is my argument.
So I think one thing here is are you going only single player game? Because now we're including the games.
Well, if you played competitive games and you actually cared about performing well, you'd have a PC with a 120 hertz display.
There's
okay. I was just being rude. For me, I would say that I would be more likely to sit in my couch and play a single player game with a controller. I would be less likely to play anything competitive.
I know. So like the reason why I think Xbox One is specifically not for you, because when I'm looking at this and I'm thinking Xbox One, I'm thinking households where the kids are trying to convince the parents, or one of the parents is trying to convince the other parent. Like you're trying to pitch it to someone.
Sure.
If you go like, oh, it's $30 a month, that's quite digestible, versus $400 for a long time there. The like, oh, a household or individual with no kids can save up roughly this much money on splurge purchases thing, that was roughed in at $300, $299.
Yeah,
for a long time. That was a big discussion we had around, I believe, the last console launch.
You're right.
They've cranked that up by $100. The average income of most people has not increased like at all.
Yeah.
So like it is less digestible at $399 than they were when they were at $299. It just is. Even if the $399 price is very competitive against what Xbox has as their hard prices, I don't think what Xbox is really pushing forward is their hard prices. And if you're buying one of these, I think in most cases, it is probably your singular gaming machine. I'm assuming. I don't know this, but like when I was growing up, we usually either had like really nicely spec'd computers and we were kind of a little out of date on the console side of things, or we were up to date on the console side of things and we were a little out of date on the computer side of things.
Most families cannot most families cannot afford to like have the whole stable of, you know, current gen consoles and a nice gaming PC. That's not reasonable.
And like my dad was pretty good at like, that's not the right phrasing. My dad pushed forward consoles a fair amount, which makes sense. Family setting, we all sit on the couch, we play games together. It was really cool. And then a lot of like my personal money went into my computer. So, but that was a big focus for me, etc. I think most households are going to have kind of one. And if you're buying like a brand new console, it's probably going to be one. So it's $400, which is really hard to digest. And if that's your singular thing and you want to play games online with your friends, you are getting what's looking like $12 a month subscription for PS Plus. And I don't think that comes with games, because I think you need PlayStation Now for games. I don't know. I don't know PlayStation add-ons.
Well, PS Plus comes with some PS4 games.
Okay. Sure. And then PlayStation Now comes with more stuff. I don't really know how the PlayStation stuff works, but you're spending at least $12 additional.
So PlayStation Now is cloud gaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you subscribe for longer periods of time, if you subscribe for 3 months at a time, it's $30. 6 months at a time, it's $70. So you get some discounts there, but not massive ones, just fairly reasonable discounts for subscribing in bigger amounts of time. So probably, let's say about $12 a month. So
all right,
in 10 months, the Xbox costs less.
All right. I think it's fair to say that there's a console for everyone, because if I'm more of like a single player experience person, I might actually care more about PlayStation Plus than I do about Microsoft service. And I think that the PlayStation 5 discless, like the digital edition, makes a ton of sense for me, because I'm sitting there, I'm playing more like sightseeing type games, beautiful games that are meant to be enjoyed on the latest hardware. Sony was very clear that they explored the idea of a lower spec PS5 and rejected it because they didn't like what it would mean for the game development process. And honestly, I think they were right.
Yeah, I
think
agree.
they were right about that. But then I think Microsoft is coming at it from a completely different point of view, where, like you said, it's like, this is the family, it's the Xbox, it's the box, it's that box that's for gaming or whatever. So you got your subscription fee, it's practically free. The controllers are cheap because you could go pick up like secondhand Xbox One controllers at GameStop when they go out of business down the street. So it's meant to be this like affordable box that's maybe more, I don't want to say casual because that has such a negative connotation, but it's certainly a less fraught purchase. Like, you don't have to think about it quite so hard. I think it's going
to be more common to find the new Xboxes in cheaper overall setups.
Yes,
if that makes sense. So like, I don't think the PS5 is positioned necessarily poorly. I think what you brought up, like the possibility of someone getting the console and not getting PlayStation Now, actually seems decently high.
Yeah, it seems pretty high. Like, if I had $400 to spend, or 500, let's say, because I might want to buy a game or something, maybe. So I get a PlayStation 5. I get one controller that comes with it, because I'm not going to buy another fancy $70 controller or whatever. And I get,
you don't need it.
And one game that I like really want to play. I buy. Oh man, what are the launch titles again? There's really not much even on the PlayStation side. Oh man, is Hogwarts Legacy even launching with the game, or with the console?
I don't know.
I don't know. Demon's Souls maybe.
Launch titles in the dock. They have some goods. PlayStation has been fantastic on the single player game side of things. So I legitimately see the use case of buying the digital ones. So you save $100.
Yeah.
Getting some single player games over the life cycle of the console.
Yeah.
Enjoying it a lot. And just seeing it off with that, not really worrying about PlayStation Now, not really worrying about PlayStation Plus. If you're on the Xbox side of things, I really see getting the subscription model console, getting in on those multiplayer games with your friends,
So
focusing on that
Microsoft,
because they don't have as many exclusives and stuff.
Microsoft is going hard on the whole, just like commoditizing it, turning it into
Yes.
a box. And I think that that might cause some friction with game developers. I've already seen some backlash about the fact that they have two different specs. So now game developers have to target PlayStation, Xbox the high-end one, Xbox the low-end one. Probably for the time being, they've got to hit PlayStation and Xbox last gen, both high-end and low-end. All of a sudden, they're basically developing. I mean, when you think about how few graphics cards there are that make up like the kind of like the, let's say the lion's share of the Steam hardware survey, right? Because going back to anything older than like 5 years ago, there's not much. AMD has what, like 20% market share, if that. And that's among like sort of architecturally, like 2 or 3 cards. So NVIDIA basically has like their handful of GPUs for each generation. Like we're at the point now where supporting a console, you're actually targeting maybe I'd say a third as many performance tiers as you are on the PC. Remember, that assumes you're only looking at graphics, and things like system memory and CPU speed and number of cores can also vary wildly on the PC. But there are trends that you can find. So it's like, I can see how developers are getting a little frustrated with that, but I think Microsoft's going to continue to double down on it. I think that we could start to see more frequent Xbox refreshes. I think that's why it's called Series, not because it's just Series, you know, X and S. I think it's Series because just like they turned Windows 10 into operating system as a service, I think they're turning Xbox into Xbox as a service. So we could just see, yeah, Series X2 next year, 2 years from now. You know, whenever AMD pulls their head out of their butt and makes a new graphics card worth upgrading to, boom.
2 years from now.
Exactly.
If they did every 2 years, that would be a full subscription of a console every time.
Yep. That could very well be the model, looking at how Microsoft has priced it so that you buy the console in 2 years. So that way, even though they don't have to, what they could do is put a ton of pressure on Sony, because Sony's business model is not designed to compete with that. So all of a sudden, Microsoft would be leapfrogging them multiple times a generation in console performance, potentially, without necessarily changing much on the game developer side of things, because everything's focused on like DirectX, right? So it's just a matter of like, here's more performance. I mean, you were going to develop for PC because it's cross-platform anyway. So here's a faster PC. It's a new box. Don't worry too much about what's inside it. This is the 4K box. This is the 4K 60 FPS box. This is the 8K box as time goes on.
And it's basically just like your settings in game are just pre-selected for you because it can detect what console you're on.
It's basically GeForce Experience.
Yeah.
Right? It just detects what you're running on and is like, yeah, that seems about right.
So now that you see the PS5 pricing, $499, $399,
yep,
no weird subscription thing like Xbox did, what do you think about the positioning of Xbox in terms of pricing?
I think
because
it's great.
they have that $299 thing that I mentioned.
I think it's a great time to be a gamer, straight up. I think between
around console launches, to be honest,
the RTX 3000 series, outstanding for PC gamers. Not just people who have $700 to spend on a graphics card, not at all, not in the slightest, because it's going to absolutely tank the prices of Pascal and Turing graphics cards. Never mind Maxwell. And you can still do a lot of gaming on a 980 or a 980 Ti. Do not kid yourself. And it is going to utterly destroy the secondhand pricing of those cards for people who don't have a ton of money. Not to mention prompt a lot of people to upgrade to the new ones and flood the market with those parts. Great time to be a gamer. PlayStation 5, honestly, looks great. Xbox Series X and Series S, honestly, they look great. Just totally huge innovations in the game development side of things. So we're going to see better game design thanks to these faster SSDs. We're going to see, what was I going to say? Right, we're going to see more affordability for gamers than ever before with the subscription model from Microsoft. Like, it's never been a better time to be a gamer. That's what I'll say today. Meanwhile, Nintendo's like,
hey guys, we're
Switch
working
Pro,
on a
maybe?
new one.
We have AR, we have augmented reality Mario Kart. Hello?
Well, they made some statement that they're like working on a new console.
Duh.
Or like they confirmed, like, yes, we are in fact doing anything.
I mean, you can take that for granted. My understanding of the game console development cycle is that you're basically working on the next console as soon as you have 2 seconds to catch your breath from launching the last one. Like 20% of the team stays on to keep writing, like, you know, firmware updates and stuff for the existing ones, and the rest is like, okay, let's build it from scratch again.
Yeah.
Maybe more than 20%. But I think you guys get my point. New console development never ends if you want to have any hope of staying competitive.
I think the PS5 is, in my opinion, targeted as like the almost the wealthy person.
I think it's more premium, 100%. Yep, and I think Xbox is like the pleb console for sure in terms of the way that Sony and Microsoft see it. Not me.
You're hitting the one-time payment digestible $299, which, due to wages not really increasing, is the same digestible amount it was last time, and they hit it again. That's probably the reason why they wanted a spec down console, and even though there was pushback, they did it anyways.
Yeah,
probably because they wanted to hit that $299.
They want that commodity. They want that commodity pricing.
They have the more premium one as well, just because they got to hit those. They got to be able to promote those performance numbers.
You need those headlines.
Might as well make it. So just make it. And then they have their 2 subscription things, which are super digestible. Even the high-end $49 console on subscription is much more digestible. And then PS5 is just sitting over there like, no, screw subscriptions. And you're paying a minimum of $400.
Games cost a lot to make. Go buy them. Can I say something controversial right now? We are way over time on the show today. We haven't even gone through super chats, but I gotta hit you with this, okay? I want to say something controversial right now.
Do it. I'm ready.
Nintendo Switch Pro, assuming that they're actually working on such a thing, could be the most compelling of all of them.
Of course.
Here's why. That's
controversial?
No, not to you, I guess. Fanboy.
No.
Hold on. For a reason you're not expecting. For a reason you're not expecting, though. Okay? For a reason you're not expecting. Okay. Because in addition to having a more powerful SoC, I think that it is basically a guarantee that it will include the crazy upsampling technology that NVIDIA has been working on over the last few years. So Nintendo could conceivably ship like a portable console that like games at 4K, because it could render at like 1080p, seamlessly upsample to 4K, and absolutely blow the console gaming world's mind, because AMD's technology when it comes to upscaling is so far behind NVIDIA's that they're not even competing on the same planet at this point. Like, have you seen what the Shield Pro can do?
Would you want it 4K in your hand?
I think I wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't have to be. I wouldn't care about that.
Do you think they actually build some real tech into their dock this time and do an upscaler in the dock?
No, because they don't have to. The upscaler would definitely be in the SoC. Like, there's no way it wouldn't be. And the thing too is that the Switch could benefit from upscaling without upscaling to 4K. So they could ship a 1080p display in the Switch. It could have smaller bezels. It could have a nice big screen. Like, we're overdue for a really big screen on a Switch. So a giant screen, and then it could render at like 720p or like 800p or something. So you could take advantage of DLSS, of this super sampling technology, but just in different ways. So on your TV, you're taking advantage of it to like get this crystal clear, super sharp image on your 4K TV. And in your hand, you're using it to save power by rendering at a lower resolution. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. So that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see.
I agree with that. I honestly think another Switch would fly off the shelves, even if they just made it like a little faster.
Yeah.
And like maybe a little bit better battery life.
Bluetooth headphones, maybe.
The screen had a little bit better coverage.
Like, it has Bluetooth.
Headphones would make dude. It having Bluetooth and not supporting Bluetooth headphones. It's one of the most frustrating things ever. So like, solving like a few of those problems and just making it a little bit better in each way. I wouldn't even be surprised if they added like a C stick or something. Yeah, people would eat it up because it's Nintendo.